If you're coming to Paris, it's absolutely perfect that you're watching this video because you need to know about it. The next point isn't the nicest. I literally shouted in French, and that I find insane. I moved to Australia when I was 18, so 8 years that I've been living in Australia. And now that I'm back in France, there are so many things that shock me. I'm always going to be French, but when you've lived overseas for so long, there are a lot of things that seemed completely normal to you that all of a sudden don't feel so normal anymore. The first thing that shocked me, and I think it's going to be no surprise to anyone, is the food quality. I would never complain about food in Australia, but food in France. The first thing that shocked me when it comes to the food quality is when I went to the grocery store. When you get in, you just know that you could buy anything and anything would taste incredible. In France, they're very, very transparent as to what they put in the food. It's a lot less processed. It just feels different. The natural flavors and freshness of French food just makes every meal more enjoyable. Anything you'll eat will be good, tasty, and fresh. Since I've arrived in France, my skin has felt so much more better. So I don't know. Maybe it's the water. I have no idea. I love it. Look how beautiful this is. Would you ever imagine that there's so many beautiful parks? But this one is actually the beginning of what's called Bois de Vincennes, which is a wood. And look how stunning. So I'm just gonna have a little walk through the woods and talk to you. Wow. There is something else that I found myself saying a lot. Oh my God, that's expensive. Second point is cost of living. I am shocked by how expensive France is. I don't know about you, but when I think of France and Australia, I tend to think that Australia would be more expensive. People in Australia probably find their own country expensive. Oh my goodness, wait until you come to France. Every time I'm buying something or spending any money, obviously, naturally, I want to convert it into Australian dollars. Makes me want to cry. At the supermarket, it's just insane, the prices for some things, but at the same time it's so cheap for others. It's very confusing. You have the restaurants that are super expensive. The bakeries honestly are super expensive. Yes, the quality is excellent, but wow. I decided to start walking back to where I was coming from because, like I said, it's wood. So cute. That's just something that I didn't expect and that I thought I would share with you. Your holidays in France will be expensive. Now, it depends what you're eating. There's also a lot of things that are a lot cheaper in terms of rent and everything. I find everything very expensive. For what I know French people get paid on an average, I just find it crazy that everything costs so much. And I know for a fact, talking with friends and family living here, that it's not easy to meet ends. And I understand why, honestly. For those who don't know, Louvre-Rivoli, it's the best stop to go to the Louvre Museum, but it's also the best stop to go onto Rue de Rivoli, the street that my whole entire childhood was my favorite to go to. Today, it's probably not my favorite anymore because I've seen so many beautiful places around Paris, but Rivoli is just those Haussmann, beautiful buildings. What I love about it is that it has all the shops that you want, all the restaurants. It's also extremely touristic, let's be honest with ourselves. So Australia is absolutely stunning. Landscape-wise, it's a whole other planet, right? But something that shocked me coming back to France is how beautiful the architecture is. You don't really realize when on the daily basis you live in Australia because you appreciate nature, you appreciate what's out there that is so stunning. But once you come back to a European country in general, with buildings that are so rich in history, everything has been here for like centuries and centuries, you just feel like you're back in time. I had completely forgotten how beautiful Paris was. Now that I am back, I mean, look at this. Wow. It's beautiful. It's magical. When it comes to the Louvre, I have a tip. Always buy your tickets online. For all of the museums, everything you can pre-book, just do it. Because look at this queue. You don't want to come to the Louvre and queue up. Absolutely not. I think I'm gonna go and sit here for my next point. I don't know if you can hear me really well, but my next point is public transport. In France in general, I know right now I'm in Paris and I'm talking about Paris because that's where I grew up and that's where I am right now. Right now in Paris, I was at Château de Vincennes. It took me 18 minutes on the metro to come right in the heart of Paris. And there's a metro every 3 minutes. Obviously, you can't compare that to Australia because Australia is such a vast country, a lot less populated. You can't have so much offer when there's less demand, which I completely understand. I remember growing up in Paris, I never thought of getting my driver's license. It was just never something that I thought of until I moved to Australia at 18 and I was like, okay, then I'm definitely gonna have to start thinking about it. And in Australia, that's the opposite. What you want is a car. It's also a pleasure. It's something that is different. I love driving and I miss driving. In France, unless you live in villages, outside of big main cities, you don't need a car. You can travel all around France so easily with trains as well. The long distance trains are so incredible. They're fast, they're reliable, they're convenient, and sometimes they can be cheaper. When you see the price of the fuel, goodness me, fuel is more expensive in France, that's for sure. Public transport, the price, look, if you live here on a daily basis, I'm not going to speak about other cities and other areas in France because I don't know so much. For example, in Paris, it's so affordable. You can get a pass that is 83 or 86 euros a month, completely unlimited. There's 5 zones in Paris for the metro network and the RER. It's going to be hard for the ears, but yes, it's RER, so much faster than the metro. The metro is more convenient. You can find a stop everywhere, whereas the RER, it's not so much that. You have more distance between each stop, but you can go much faster. If you come here as a tourist, like I am doing right now, you have a pass that I suggest you to take. If you come into Paris, it's absolutely perfect that you're watching this video because you need to know about it. The Navigo Découverte costs you 5 euros to make. It's a card that then you can keep forever. You're gonna have to have your photo on it. It's basically they check your ID and everything. You can recharge it like you want. If you're coming for one day, that won't apply to you. You might end up being cheaper just walking and buy a pack of tickets, for example. But if you're coming for more than 48 hours, it's definitely worth it. I paid €33.70, I think. It's unlimited public transport. It's valid from Monday to Sunday. The tricky part is that if you arrive on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday and you're only staying on that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then this doesn't apply to you because you won't be able to recharge for that same week. I don't know if it's really clear. I'll put the link down below anyways and you can go and check it out and it will be a lot clearer than me, I'm sure. Now I'm gonna head to the Jardin des Tuileries, which is one of my favorite gardens. I hope that you enjoy walking around Paris with me. This is such a cute spot. Wait, I need to show you that. Just typical with his beret, eating a baguette. It's just like such a cliche. We don't all look like that, I'm telling you, we don't. So, the next point isn't the nicest. Cleanliness, or dirtiness, if you want to say the right word. In this case, point is in your court, Australia. When you live in Australia, which is so clean, so tidied up. Even in cities like Sydney, Melbourne, like you see that where it's dirty, it's gonna get cleaned up. In Sydney, I remember I'd go out in the middle of the night, clubbing or anything, and you would see every single night people cleaning the streets, people cleaning up the bins and packing up everything. It's just being cleaned on a regular basis, all the time. In Sydney, for example, the trains are spotless. Even in Brisbane, everything is just so clean. You will never see people throwing the gum, the cigarettes, throwing the beers, and if they do, they can get fined. And that's what I love. That's something that I feel here isn't applied at all. For example, all of these things here that you see on the floor, these are gums. gums accumulated over the years. I know it's absolutely disgusting, and I'm so sorry that I'm showing you that. People smoke so much in Paris, in France, and you will find cigarettes on the floor everywhere. It is super sad. When you think of a city like Paris and a country like France where everything is so beautiful, you just find it like a waste that everything is so dirty. That's how I see it. I just wish people were more cautious. I feel like everyone cares so much about, you know, what others can be wearing and whatever, but it would be great to care about others when it comes to others' feelings. I know that it is so populated and it is overly visited. It would be harder to clean. I understand that, but still, people who live here or visit France should definitely be a little bit more careful. Let's appreciate, let's take care of what's here and what's so beautiful. So we're going to talk about two things: lifestyle and behaviors. The amount of walking that I do. Wow, look at this place. It's so beautiful. And because everything is so beautiful to look at, well, you just want to walk. What I love about it is that you really don't need to think so much about where you're heading, where you're going, what you're doing. You just walk. Like right now, I just know that I am in the 7th district and I'm just walking around. I have no idea where I'm going, and that's fine. From commuting on foot to scrolling through markets, exploring neighborhoods, it's just walking is a lot more involved. That's a no-brainer. So beautiful. Now let's talk about the social behaviors. There's a big difference here as well. In Australia, like I've mentioned in a lot of my videos, the lifestyle is so much more easygoing, so much more relaxed. People are just naturally friendly. They want to know where you come from, they love your accent, and they ask questions, and that's something that I really, really love. I wouldn't say that it's the case in France. I think it has to do with the fact that obviously it's so crowded all the time and it's so overpopulated and so touristic. But from what I've experienced so far, even if I am French and I can speak French, I have to admit that I haven't experienced the warmest welcome everywhere. People don't smile as much. People complain, like you hear them on public transport, on the phone and everything. People are not so respectful as well to each other. In Australia, people are so much more patient and appreciate things a lot more. For example, the first day I arrived, I was coming back from the airport. I was right at the front to board the train. And then I didn't realize that it was peak hour and a lot of people just started like gathering around me to get first into the train. There was a woman who was blind, clearly blind, with the stick, and she got pushed by everyone. Like people they're so much in their bubble that they didn't even see that someone couldn't even see. Do you know what I mean? I really don't like things that are unfair. I cannot stand it. And I literally shouted in French. I was like, don't you see that she's blind and that she cannot see and that everyone is pushing her? Just so they can rush, so they don't have to wait another 5 minutes. And they don't even wait for people to come out of the metro. So people that have to actually stop at the stop cannot come out of the train because people want to come in first. Oh, that's something that honestly I didn't miss, and that in Australia would never happen. Look where I am. I am on Les Quais de Seine. Oh, I love this one. We call them Sol Pleureur. It's just so beautiful. Look at that. I'm just wandering around Paris, literally. I really, really love the Quai de Seine. It's just the perfect spot if you want to just escape from the hustle and bustle of the city, if you just want to just have some time on your own, to think. It is so relaxing. I could spend my whole time here. I mean, look how much space there is. My next point is business hours. When I saw that until 8 p.m. every single day, you could go and buy a fresh baguette, some pastries. Yes, I'm talking about the boulangerie. The boulangeries are open until 8. Depending on how late they open, then some of them, if they open like at 7, they'll close at like 9. I've seen some of these, and I found it insane that you could literally just have anything open at any time for you to eat. It's not so much the same in Australia. Everything closes so early. In here, any time of the day, you will have something to eat. And that I find insane. I had completely forgotten that it was even a thing. I think that you can have kebabs at 2, 3 a.m. All the brasseries are usually available for you to eat at any time. Any time of the day. How many times have I struggled and had to go to McDonald's in Australia because there was nothing to eat after 9 p.m. That's so beautiful. I love the Osmanian buildings. I love the tall windows. Wow, like look at the happy hour. We're talking 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Look at that. So stunning. Find a spot. It's getting a little bit chilly now. Ooh, the weather changed so quickly. I'm in front of the Pantheon and I wanted to talk about my last point. Daylight duration. Daylight duration is pretty insane. And it's so weird because obviously I grew up in France and in Europe it's normal. Every time spring comes up, days are getting longer. But I don't know why somehow this time really shocked me. It's something that really tends to affect how we spend our days. I felt like you would wake up very easily at 6 a.m., for example, in Australia, but because all the shops are going to close early and because at maximum 7 p.m. it's pitch black, like all year round, regardless of the season, then you won't find yourself very often spending time outside in the evening. Daylight duration is incredible because look at me right now. It's close to 6 p.m. and it is so freaking bright. And it allows you to do so much more during your day. You don't have to think, oh, everything is going to close very soon once you finish work. No. And that's why you see a lot of people spending time on terrace and having brasseries open all the time. You want to live a lot more outside. I love how from the moment it's daylight, it doesn't really matter of the weather or anything. In Europe, you really, really appreciate the daylight. I'm outside in Paris right now, 6 p.m. enjoying just wandering around. It's so good. I'm just really enjoying myself. It's such a nice feeling. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I really want to hear if anything has shocked you coming to my country because I'm so curious to hear about it. Yeah, it's your turn now. You need to share your point of view. Okay? Let's make this a conversation. I think my next video, you're gonna love it because it's gonna be eating for 24 hours at boulangeries only, so bakeries, for those who don't understand. That's what I've shot today on top of this video. So it will be my same haircut, same outfit. So if you like food and you like Paris and you like France, it's gonna be available soon. Bye bye.